Okay, so I just got back from the store because I had to buy another PS4 DualShock controller. It's a white one, if you want to know. And I gotta tell you, did you know how much PS4 controllers are? It's pretty ridiculous. In fact, I want to look up the Xbox one, but I just spent $69, almost $70 on one controller. Okay, now I have Amazon open, and I'm gonna look for Xbox controller, Xbox One controller, because that's the most relevant one right now. So 48, 49, 52, 49, 57. Yeah, they're relatively just as expensive, but not even close. In other places, I'm sure if I went there to get an Xbox controller, I would have been paying probably $60. But these controllers shouldn't be that expensive, especially the Sony ones, which have been out since a PS4. You know, had one. I still have one, two, three, four. Now I have five PS4 controllers. Five. I should at least go through at least two. I should have at least two in my like 4 years or 5 years of playing the PS4 by now. I shouldn't have five. You know, I don't know how many years the PS4 has been on, but I haven't had it as much because I didn't buy it when it came out. Um, Maybe I did, but I don't know. But the point is, it shouldn't be $70 for a controller in this long a lifespan it's been out. Not only that, I'm spending for their internet service. Thanks, Sony. If you really wanted to win those console wars, make internet $10 a year or something. Because you make plenty of money. You don't need that extra bit of money off of the back end of internet when the PC does not. Xbox could have won. Xbox could have said, yeah, we have all that stuff, but internet will be free. All that stuff would be free. And all that backwards compatibility stuff would have been icing on the cake of the Xbox. But PlayStation has its own problems. So much of its own problems. I still love the DualShock 4. I think it's just Super Nintendo controller on steroids. It's much better. Um, it's exactly the same as a SNES controller. But man, I spent $70 today because I didn't have a choice. Because I was looking on Amazon for PS4 controllers, and I'm like, okay, they're like $60, but with shipping, it will probably end up being 67. So I would have saved at least $2. But the thing is, though, I don't know if I can trust shipping these days with the virus going around. Especially like I can get two bootleg controllers on Amazon or third party, not bootleg, third party controllers for the same price as one. But they came from China, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And now I remembered maybe those controllers come from Japan, which has also been like riddled with the virus. So I decided I'm going to go to my local Meyer and get the controller. Okay, so I did, and I got $70 worth it. And now I have to do a controller test to basically find out which one works. In fact, I need to find out if this one works today. Because if it doesn't work, I have to go back tomorrow and get a refund. And so that'll be fun. But still, at least I got it. But I just feel cheated that it's $70 for a controller. Why? Like, I have to know. I mean, you can make that stuff locally too. You don't, like, what components do they have that we don't? I don't get it. It just feels like I'm being cheated out of my money. And I feel like it's unnecessary. Like, if you're $50 today, it would still be too expensive. $40 should be I think $40 should be the maximum for a controller, and it better work for a year. It better at least work for a year. Have a year warranty on it at least. If it's going to be $50, but $70, it better last 5 years at the most. But nope, I have 4 controllers that are just. And the reason why I had to change controller is because this one I have, the D-pad, when it pushes down, let's see, it goes up and down. It's fine, but if I had something over to the side, like whenever I push down, sometimes it goes right on the D-pad, and that gets really annoying. But it's something I can't deal with. At least it's not like the other controller, which the other control stick, it moves on its own. Like there's a ghost inside the machine that pulls it right. And so imagine playing a action adventure or any 3D platform or anything like that with the camera going spinning around so you get sick all the time. I mean, that's some like game jam like test or something like that. Can you play this without getting dizzy? Let's make that into a game. I'm sure you could, but that's not the point of playing video games. Especially AAA video games where you need you can't have that happen all the time. Imagine playing like any first-person shooter where the camera, where you keep tilting to the left because it's pulling you right. Or it's. I forget what's wrong with the other two, and I plan to test them. But still, I shouldn't be getting my 5th controller today. It shouldn't ever have happened. I shouldn't have to pay for internet. I shouldn't be with a company for so many years and have them like. I remember like Sony tried to copyright Let's Play, so no one else could use it. Yeah, Sony tried that. People give Xbox a lot of crap for their like DRM thing they were doing and trying to get the internet. Like you can go on without the internet. But man, this is something that's not. It's not even equal to that, but still, it's like really, you're gonna try to copyright Let's Play, so you get a little bit of money off that each time someone uses it. Like you need that much over there. How much you getting from Sony Pictures? Like, do you really need $70 for a controller? Not really. Which is kind of funny because I'm the person who doesn't mind when companies make money. But when you have a product that no one else can get to, and then it's like, well, you got to come here to get it, and we don't have a choice in the matter, and so you're going to charge whatever you want. That's the problem with the monopoly of certain products and the corporation of video games, which, if they don't clean up their act, are going to get the government involved, where they can't do certain things, and then, well, if they can't do certain things, I would jack up the price. That's how you're going to make your money back when you have more restrictions. It's instead of having a system where they have checks and balances within their own company. Like, believe it or not, I think Nintendo does a pretty good job of that. I'll go back to the PS4 controller on my Amazon. Like, there's one for $46. $46. Yeah, I should have went to Amazon. I paid $70. But like I said, I was worried about the virus, so I don't know if I should trust anything like that. I think that's what a lot of people are going through with this stuff. Like, yeah, I'm not sure I want stuff shipped to me, which is why the economy is sort of down right now with all that stuff. And the third-party controllers are even cheaper, but like this one here, it's rated well, but I can't trust it because it'll come from a third party, and they don't have. I don't know if third-party like items go through the same screening process as like major products do. I'm not sure about that. I don't know about that stuff. So I don't know. So yeah, I should have got it from Amazon, but still, I couldn't do it. Let's see about like okay, let's go for Um, Nintendo Pro Controller. Nintendo Pro Controller. Okay. Wireless is $32. No, it's not. It's $60. $60 for a Pro Controller for the Switch. That's how Nintendo makes their money. I guarantee it. I got myself a wired one, and it was like $30. I was like, good. I'm getting that for $30 because $60 for a Pro controller. That's because it's wireless. I'm not sitting that far, and the cord for the Pro controller for the Switch goes pretty far. Like it's not like it doesn't go around the house or anything. Like why do you need that anyway? When it goes from I don't know, it's about let's see. It seems to go about like I don't know, 20 inches, maybe. I'm, of course, I'm probably underestimating it because it goes all the way from my bench to about 10 feet from from my bed. So that's more than probably 20 inches. um, I don't know measurements. I'm just saying that like I'm fine with having a cord. I don't need like a bunch of room, so if it fits my needs, I'm going to buy the cheaper one. Because why would I buy something that's more expensive? You know. But if you had a greater distance between you and the couch, or in the main room, then you would. But most people I know don't have that much like room. And here's the thing about that cord. Sure, it's inconvenient, but you know what you do? You move the seat closer. Yeah, I know. Revelating, but still. Enough about the Switch. It's just like $60 for a Switch controller. That's amazing. I forgot already how much the Xbox One controller is. Jeez, that scared the crap out of me. Someone's on the outside. $52 is the most expensive one. So yeah. Wait, there's one for a discount from 70. Jeez, man. Why are controllers so expensive? It's because, like, especially for consoles. Um, yeah, it's true. I've you're going to explain which broken promises because they made a bunch of broken promises. I like oh yeah, for example, they said they're going to be backwards compatible for every PS1, PS2, PS3 game with the new PS5. It's not happening. It's not happening. So it's only backwards compatible with PS4 games, which I'm happy about. But they made that promise that it's going to be compatible with all the other games. It's not happening. Not only that, okay, hot take. I'm not. I don't care about about Final Fantasy VII remake today. I don't care. Like you're getting 6% of a game. Not even that much, but maybe 5%. And people are like, "Oh my gosh, Final Fantasy VII remake just happened," and I'm like, I don't care. Like it's not really a game. Even when the full game comes out, it's gonna be like a demo, and then you gotta pay more, or maybe you pay for it and then you get free DLC updates for it. I mean, I'm okay with that, but still, it's like I'm not really that excited. I don't. Nah, I just don't care that much because my expectations. It's not I have low expectations. It's just I know how the industry works, and so I keep my expectations in the middle. It's kind of like when you go see a movie. Keep your expectations in the middle, so that way you can be disappointed and you can be excited for it at the same time. You know, like it's pretty much the way of saying I'm open-minded, but I'm not gonna spend my money on false hope and promises. Um, I forget how much you pay for the internet service they provide. Hold on, I'm gonna. locked my door since I got scared by I got scared by my folks who walked by. I'm like, because I thought I was alone. I'm not. Let's see. So I want to find out how much PSN is, because that's something I want to look up. PSN per month. All right. No, not. Let's see. $9.99. It's $10 per month. Okay. That's. I don't know if that's too expensive or not. I think it is, because especially when you don't use internet every month, but you got to have it sometimes. That's kind of weird, but whatever. I pay for a yearly service, which is like $70, I think, a year or something like that, which is, I think, a good deal. Much more of a good deal than my controller. $70 for one controller. It's gonna last me a year. I guess they have the same mindset. What a what a garbage business model. I don't know. I can't explain how. I mean, how do you self-regulate yourself as a company? You want to make money, but you want to make money the good way, so people don't flee to your opposition. But you can't really do that. You can't really have that mindset when your company is in a place where it's not as much as a free market as it is in the United States. You know, you have this mindset of the '80s is like there was no rental market. Nothing was for free. Like where video games are one of the prominent things in Japan. Like when Dragon Quest came out, the country was canceled. You know, it was not canceled, but it was shut down because people wouldn't go to work or wouldn't go to school because Dragon Quest was out. In fact, from now on, they have like laws saying, "Listen, you have to cut down your gameplay. You have to." It's so weird how a whole country that can happen to a whole country. Like if you said that to somebody, they'd be like, "No, that didn't happen." It's so weird. But when you come from that certain mindset of video games are everything, and because the problem with consoles is that it's a very closed-in space, um, especially when it comes to Sony, who are they own that console. They decide what to do with it. No one else has any. Sony doesn't have the competition with other Sony products. You know, like PlayStation is not going to have another PlayStation. You know, and especially when it comes to Japan, there is no Xbox. It's only Nintendo and Sony over there, which is their only competition. Xbox doesn't exist in that in Asian countries. Not really. In fact, they sold 100 units one year, and the Wii U outsold them. That's how bad it was. You know, but whatever. Um, so yeah, I said the console is a closed platform, so they decide what to do with it. And the PC, well, yeah, you got to remember that like, well, some of their exclusives went to PC. Well, guess what's going to happen? People are going to get a PC because it's better. It's an open platform. You can get whatever you want on it, even Sony games. You know, like I love Sony. I love the PlayStation, but if I had a PC that acts just like that console there, and it is effortless if you know what you're doing, but I'm not that advanced in technology or whatever. So, like, I can't even edit a YouTube video. That's how bad I am, at technology. See, the reason why I say it's a closed platform, even though they have competition, is because they set their own rules within Sony for the PlayStation. And and it's only Sony products on there, unless you have third-party theft, which is like, okay, we'll do this, but I don't think they care that much about third-party stuff because they run their exclusives, which is why people go there now. Like that's why they go to Nintendo. Whatever they say goes in that platform. PC is a little more complex. If you don't like what Sony's doing, you can buy Xbox games for your PC, and it will work better than it is on the Xbox. Like that's the thing. And they have PC games, PC exclusives, which are very good. Like it's kind of funny. They said Sony defenders say, "Well, what kind of exclusives do they have that like?" But it doesn't matter. Their library is huge, and they outpace those. They outpace the exclusive for Sony one bit. In fact, their exclusives are also varied. Like one of the criticisms against Sony exclusives is that they're all third-person action games, and yeah, they have a point. Not to say that, well, people like them, so they're going to keep making them. And they keep getting awards for it. Would you stop? No, but that is a valid criticism. But to say that, that PC doesn't have duds, it does. But, you know what happens to their duds? Even a dud on PC is better than the best thing on a Xbox or a PlayStation. Like, one of the most famous examples was Arkham Knight. It came out and it crashed because they got a third-party team to do it on the PC. But if you look at it now, it's one of the most. They repaired it. They made it a lot better, and now it's getting good reviews. When it used to have terrible reviews, it got review bombed. And now it's reviewed well. Like that's the thing with the PC. Things that start out bad get better. When in Sony, they don't have to make it better. Like, unless they made promises. Like they do fail promises. Sometimes they do patch it out. But oh man, I'm just saying. Like I have many problems with Sony. It's they make good decisions. They make bad decisions. Like, I remember one of the bad decisions they made was they decided to not give people EA access. When they decided not to give people EA access, they had to get it from Sony instead. Because Sony decided that for you, instead of making it a choice. However, on the Xbox and the Microsoft end, and the PC, and which includes the Apple, by the way. I understand people can game on their Apple laptops or whatever. I'm not excluding them. I'm just saying, like, Xbox is usually Microsoft. It is Microsoft. When they do that. And it's just so weird that they didn't give their customer a choice. EA Access would have been great, but they decided against it. And I don't care if EA is a scum of the earth when it comes to a big company. You still give people a choice. When you give people choices, they're going to choose one over the other, and that's a problem with Sony. They don't want you to have a choice. They want you to go to Sony. And if something looks better, they have to make themselves better. They don't want to do that. They want to be the monopoly of their own product. And that is inherently a bad thing because it's a selfish way to look at gaming. But it's also a way to make lots of money. Which is, they're a business, they're allowed to make money. But that's the corporatization of them. They didn't feel they needed to do that, so they decided to take away your choices. So, sorry, this is just a rant that, like I said, I would have a script later on, but this is not a script. I just needed to vent about the dumb thing I just witnessed at my local Meijer because I couldn't trust the online market right now. Because the virus seemed to be buying locally, and I paid the price for it. Well, there's no shipping, so yeah. Well, here's the thing: even with shipping, that $46 would have been like 55 or something like that. I would have saved lots of money. It's ridiculous how much Amazon gives you for that stuff. I'm not saying Amazon is the best company ever or anything like that. I'm just saying it's cheaper because it goes directly from the manufacturer, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not a businessman. But it seems like if you're going to go cheaper somewhere, online's the way to go. But like I said, people with virus concerns like me are be like, nah, I'm not sure I want to do that because it's a Japan and China product. I don't know if I don't know if I'm going to get it or not, and I don't want to spread it, so I'm going to my local store. I need to do some controller tests. So I wonder what there's a Last of Us 2 coming out, which is kind of funny because The Last of Us came out when at the end of the PS3's lifespan, and now The Last of Us 2 is coming out during the end of the PS4's lifespan, which is interesting because I'm not sure if it's playing that way or they do it just to make money because they made money on the PS3 end and the PS4 end. Because like, oh man, I need it for my PS4. Well, there's a PS4 version. They might do the same thing. I don't know if I'm buying that either. More hot takes. More hot takes. It's about Ellie. It's probably both. Oh, man. Okay. I can't be the only one who feels this way. So, if you ever played The Last of Us, spoilers, by the way, there's this part called Left Behind. And during the ending of the original game, she talks about how she left her friend Riley to die because she was turned. But they're both turning and realized she was immune, and Riley was not. I don't know what happened to Riley. Probably killed her. But whatever. So during the Left Behind thing, they kiss, and I'm gonna be an adult for a second. Like they end up like kissing, and they're both girls. And so I'm like, okay, I can actually see that. I don't think that's because they're at the height of their emotional thing, and they're very they're not that very. I mean, they're teenagers. They're pretty much kids coming up from 13 to 14 years old. And I'm like, okay. And so they're very emotional, which means they would probably think that there's no societal norms that tell them no, I guess. But there's also but the thing is though that if you go back to sort of the psychological or the science of it, that part's over, I think. Because when it comes to survival, who cares if you're gay or not? And then when they come out with The Last of Us 2, the trailer, she ends up dancing with another woman, and I'm like, why? Answer me that. Why? I'm like, if it comes to survival, you know what you got to do? You got to refill that population. So you got to kind of leave your emotions behind and think about survival, which was what Joel pretty much shoved into Ellie's face and since day one is we do this to survive. You're a survivor. You got to do what you got to do. But they decide to make her this, and I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me to make Ellie a gay character when she grew up. But I can't say the signs are not there for early on because most men during the campaign are, well, one tried to rape her, and another one, and the same one imprisoned her, and then another one, like, and the same one tricked her. That's pretty much where I think where that stems comes from. But on the other hand, you have Joel, who is a monster when it comes to torture, laying traps, and all that stuff. But that's also Ellie's guidepost for emotions and fatherhood. This guy is teaching her to survive, and survival when it comes to survival, and you gotta get that population. I guess I don't know. It just seems like they're just making her gay because we're gonna virtue signal. It doesn't make much scientific or emotional sense to me. But if someone wants to argue for her being, gay, I'm like, I can see it. But I think the evidence sways the other way a little bit more. Like, they pretty much non-committal as you can get. But it just seems like it's convenient that they want to get points. They want to get victim points. Because when she gets put down, that means you're being put down. Like, no. Because we didn't know that in the first Last of Us. And she was kind of an idiot when she was in prison. She could have got out by pretending to be submissive. But no, we can't have that because she's a female. But she was also a little girl. She was probably emotional at the time. And she didn't want to... And you just don't take crap from anybody when you're that age. So, there's both sides of the argument, which is good. I like that part. I don't know where it's come from. We're talking about Sony. Sony exclusive includes Last of Us. That's why. So, but again, it's like everybody gets their, like, everybody's not invincible in that game either. So I do like that. It's a very visceral experience. Like, doesn't matter who you are, what skin color you are. Bullets and zombos have no allegiance to anybody. Which I do like about Last of Us. Which is why I think when I saw that trailer for The Last of Us 2, I'm like, this is not going to last. This peacetime thing. In fact, one of my things is like Ellie goes out and like goes on an adventure for some reason. Like, say Joel is like gonna, I don't know, dies or something like that. Joel's dead or something like that. And then like she goes out and finds out that like I have like video evidence at this Firefly facility that Joel killed your mom. And so she goes out on her save the world adventure again, but then she realizes that no, I'm my own person now. And I don't want to die. I have a family of my own or something. Like, I can't risk my family for the rest of the world. Have the same thing, but now realize that what Joel is coming from. But that would be just the same thing, just with the same protagonist all throughout it. But whatever. I thought that would be an interesting way to do it, but that's fanfic now. So, I don't know. It seems like that. Like I saw like parts of the new trailer where she's being dragged by a rope by her neck, and I'm like, well, yeah. I think you I think your happy times are gone. Cause man, that was it. It's a very interesting game series. People were asking for a new Uncharted on Twitter, and I'm when it comes to PlayStation, I'm like, nah. I mean, if you're gonna do that, get the daughter grown up. Like, at least make her like 18 or something like that, old enough, where she can handle herself. And have tutorials where she's being taught how to defend herself from her dad and mom and all that stuff. And then they go on an adventure and her parents are kidnapped because I don't know, a relative of one of the people he killed. They killed in the past. Or they're just jealous of them because they got what they of what they had or something like that. And I have to give Naughty Dog this, The Lost Legacy. They didn't make what's her face? Who's that British Indian woman? Didn't make her gay with that black woman from 4 in The Lost Legacy. I'm like, yeah, why can't people just be friends? Like if there's two same-sex people on a cover or something like that, I'm like it's almost like, huh, we didn't make them gay. I'm like, why can't they be best friends? Like, why can't they just be friends? Like, it's like you can't be sad for somebody when they die if you're just really good friends. Like it happens all the time now. But so yeah, this isn't edgy. Oh man. And this all started from a controller rant. Just, people just to buy. I mean, hold on, let me get closer. I don't want my chair noises. Probably the process about probably they're still gonna do the internet because that's working out for them. I mean, they get free money each month. I think my internet's just gonna. I mean, I auto pay, and I'm like, I don't care, just take it to my bank account. I have to use it sometimes because what if I need to go on the internet on my on a game? So just go ahead and just, even though I don't play online games at all, they still take my money. Like, take my money, like fry, you know. So yeah, I think I might just end it there. Like, I'll probably play Psychonauts later today. I will be playing Psychonauts. I had to make this because it's like, how $70 for a controller? That's a game, and that's like a game with an EA pass on it. I mean, with that's a Battlefront 2 with Han Solo's blaster kind of deal. So I'm gonna use this controller just for entertainment, and I'll use my new controller for games only. I'll have to exchange them, and it's so weird, but that's just the way it is, I guess. And I got candy on my bed. It's sticky because it was taffy. Taffy. That has nothing to do with Sony. I blame you, Sony, for taffy. Oh yeah, because like they weren't that complex. It didn't have. People often forget the PS1 controller didn't have analog sticks. It just had a D-pad. Now everything has a control stick, which is good. Control sticks are one of the best things ever. And if it wasn't for the N64, that never would have happened. And Ape Escape. We can't forget Ape Escape because that was the first game to say it can only be played with DualShock. Oh man. So yeah, we're talking about Sony and how they're at least they're not pulling really outrageous stuff. But yeah, on the Nintendo, I'm like trying. Man, they have expensive stuff, but they have options, and they have. I think Nintendo has the best exclusives, if I'm being honest, because they have such variety in their exclusives. They're not afraid to try new things. Like, Mario Maker, I don't know if that would sell if I were Nintendo, but it sold like hotcakes, man. People love it. That's why they bought a Wii U later on in life. I bought a Wii U for Smash. Smash again. Good value in that game. Uh, Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. I think another Zelda game that I'd get other than Breath of the Wild is the Link's Awakening remake. Man, I'm my throat's going dry because it is allergy season up in here. It's getting warmer, and so it's getting allergy season. Like Mario Maker 2, I am loving it. I'm loving it. You can do so much more. I made a Zelda level because in the original Mario you can give a sword power up, and it's like you can make Mario turn into 2D Link. It's just and it's like, oh man, that's awesome. He can shoot arrows and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, so I made a whole level around that. Someone liked it, and I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah. So also, not buying Kakarot. That game seems to suck. I mean, it's like it's divisive because they make it an RPG, but they don't want you to grind, so they give you experience points like after every cutscene, and I'm like, so what's the point in actually doing anything? uh, Whatever. I mean, I oh goodness gracious, I'm yawning. I am boring myself now. So I need to test some controllers. I need to do that. My thumbnail will be my dusty controllers, probably. Oh man. So yeah, I think they'll be on the rent. Like I said, probably later on. I'll probably go into Psychonauts. I'll probably says through this rant I'm doing, which is not really that angry, but you know, while I'm on this rant, while I'm on it, it's always kind of hilarious when like, you know who's a joke now? Are major gaming publications. Like, here's the thing. Like, here's a surprise to no one. When it comes to written reviews, they're going down like crazy. Nobody cares. Nobody. Like, this is why places like IGN, Kotaku, and all that stuff are using clickbait because they know it brings them to their site. And the more outrageous the claim is, the more people will go there and click on it. Then they'll leave comments like, yes, bring us the money. But after that, what do they do then? They actually have to write something not crap, and no one knows about it. That's the thing about clickbait, though. People go for the clickbait and nothing else. So when you write your review for, I don't know, a game coming up, no one's going to care because it's not clickbait. If you're to keep consistent and then actually have a clickbait title that actually is true, people would actually go, well, wait a minute. If these people are saying these really like things that are backed up by facts and hot takes that are actually like that are backed up by facts, what are they doing about reviews? I wonder if they do this about stuff like that. You know. So this is why YouTube game reviews are so good, because they show things and they back it up. It's not just written there for you to use your imagination and fill in the gaps yourself. You know, and plus, like, people are usually very entertaining when it comes to reviews and stuff. And plus, you don't have to read. I hate to say it, but reading is really boring from a Here's the thing: reading a book uh, is actually a lot better than reading from a pad because there's something to touch. You can smell it. There's a physical interaction there. You have to get involved in the reading. When it comes to a tab, it feels very lifeless. Like something's wrong. You know, like I can do it, but it's not as good. You know, I don't pay attention as much. Um, so yeah, so IGN made a clickbait title where they PAX East just happened. Just to dig this video, PAX East just happened in 2019 and 2020. My bad, 2020. I keep thinking it's 2019. It's not. It's 2020. And so Sony and Hideo Kojima didn't show up. And so IGN wrote this article about how Sony and see, I did bring back the Sony, and they didn't show up because they're racist against Asians. And I'm like, who wrote this? Doesn't that realize that Sony is an Asian company? You absolute moron. And I don't use that lightly. But it's like, really? Do you not know who you're writing about? Yes, Sony has an American branch. But guess what? There it only matters if Sony Japan shows up. Because that's where they're at. The reason why Sony of America is there is for customer service and for other things, and for things in America. They're not this. They're not an arm for Sony. It's why? Why did you do that? Not only is it clickbait, it's false. Like, even from the title itself, it's so bad. Like, I wonder if I can. Yeah, sure, why not? I got all the time. This would be my one of the videos of the day. By the way, let's see if I can find it. Oh man, no, not OGN. My phone gets fat fingered all the time. IGN. Gets packs. All right. Yeah, because that's the reason why they didn't go. Because, well, you know why they didn't go, right? I'll give you 10 seconds to realize why Sony didn't go to PAX East. I'll tell you why. Give up? Probably because they're right next to China. And they have problems with the virus, and they don't want to travel to the United States. And so, I don't know if it was IGN itself, but somebody at what was that, the mayor? Or something like that? I think it was the mayor. Yeah, Boston mayor. Yeah, I'm sorry. It wasn't IGN. I apologize. I was wrong. But, yeah, Boston mayor urges Sony to reconsider PAX East. Oh my gosh. Increase the concerns over otherwise known as a novel coronavirus. Urging them to make no. This is not what you do. I've reached out to Sony, Boston. It's in Boston. Now, the Mira boss has reached out to Sony appeal to the company, urging them to make a decision based on facts, not fear, and urging position not to do harmful stereotypes about Chinese people. Are you for real, Boston Mayor? Are you for real? You do know that Japan is having issues with the virus, just like China is. Like, are you that ignorant? It's not stereotypes about Chinese people. It's because they don't want to infect other people. And so IGN is doing its job. Congrats, IGN. But yeah, I'm not saying they don't do their job in clickbait either. Like there has been. It's interesting how they also skipped like E3 because like E3 is dead. E3 has been dead for years. Nobody cares anymore. Do you know why? Because we have video outlets other than G4. You know, uh, I cannot believe they did that. That's such a bad take by the Boston mayor. And I'm like, because people think that if you criticize, if other people don't want to come or you don't use the internet, they're like, no, no, don't have fears, all this stuff. You're just being a stereotype, kind of like how Canada did with the bat soup thing. It was like, well, don't eat the bat soup, and you'll be fine. And people are like, that's a stereotype. But like, no, it's been found in bat soup. Don't eat it. Don't eat guano. Okay? And I'm like, people are warning you. It's not a stereotype. Like, I don't understand how that's racist to begin with. I don't understand. I've never understood that. How are facts racist? I don't get that. You know, it's all these hot takes I have. If you consider facts hot takes, you know. But still, um, I was going to say, like, IGN does have a lot of clickbait. I didn't prove it, but still, it has something to do with Sony. I was wrong. I was wrong about that. But still, I had remembered it differently. Okay. No, the one, like, bad take by IGN was the Pokemon Sword thing. Pokemon Sword and Shield thing where they give it a 9 out of 10. And people are like, excuse me? And she defended herself. She doubled down. It's like, it's a really good game. It's like when they give a 9.5 to a Madden game. And it's like, no, it doesn't deserve that. You know, that because they don't choose people who are consistent in the series to talk about the past and the present. You know, that's what I did with my Pokemon Sword review. And like in the past, things were a lot better. Like if you're gonna get one game over the other, if you have if you have a 3DS, go get Sun and Moon. It is a much better game than Sword and Shield, even though it has long cutscenes that you can't skip. I'm like, and that was a problem with Sun and Moon, the real big problem. In Sword and Shield, it's like, oh my gosh, would you not shut up? I don't need to be told every second that something is happening. And plus, no voice acting. I don't like having no voice acting. It's really bothering to me. That's why I quit Nuni Kuni 2 on my channel. Because I was like, man, it is hard to get through this game with no voice acting. I was having a good enough time, but it's like, can I have the voice acting back, please? I need voice acting. I know it's a RPG, but man. And plus, in that game, Nuni Kuni 2, you're becoming like the overall dictator. And I was like, nah. uh, I'm gonna steal something. While I'm here, I'm gonna steal something from a podcast called "Things That I Like," I guess. Um, um, one thing I liked in gaming, I guess. What I liked in gaming, if you're a very creative person, and you could just endlessly write down all kinds of stuff, and if get Mario Maker 2 for your Switch, just do it. It is an investment in hours upon hours of the just endless amounts of gameplay you can just or like interesting things you can do with that game. It's just so good at being just that time waster that doesn't feel like you wasted your time. I know that's what games are, but you spend most of your time actually making the game instead of playing it, which is fine. Shush. Be quiet, Siri. I'm trying to talk. And so that's a good thing that I had to say. And then there's like a bad thing. Grr. So, so the bad thing is when you talk about like certain things. Well, Star Wars is man. When you talk about like, I've realized that the new Star Wars stuff coming out is that they realize is that I think they hate their fans now because they don't want because they want like certain things to come out about like how it's gonna be a woke go broke kind of thing, but we'll see because I've heard some news that it's gonna be really bad. And another bad thing is so if you didn't see it, this is gonna be a political point when it comes to almost video game stuff, but I was around Twitter, which is the best place to get your political opinions. And even though I've done the oopsie, on political opinions, but you apologize and you move on with your life. You don't double down. So if you don't know, I follow Angry Joe on the Twitter, and he started supporting the Bernie ballot. He was talking about like how he's in fact what was his quote was about the quote of his tweet was Bernie is not a Bernie is not a socialist, he's not a communist. And I'm like, hold on. You mean that guy since his early 20s had nothing but praise for Castro, for Russia, went honeymoon in Russia, this thinks bread lines are great. The guy who who talks about gulags were fantastic, you know, and then said, I have no idea how we're going to pay for things. The government will just pay for it, you know. All Altarian views. And so I pretty much, and then he doesn't condemn his Bernie bros. In fact, he may have done it on purpose. We don't know that. That's a rumor. I'm not gonna saturate that. But the guy who says he just loves Jews when he campaigns with the most anti-Semitic people who want to see Israel wiped off the face of the map. Okay, explain that one to me. Like, so I sit, so I tried to get his attention. Of course, I'm a peon in this pool of the internet of social media of Twitter. Like, I am a minnow. He is a big fish. He is verified. I am not, which means he. So I tried to call out to him. Nothing happened. Do not contact him about it. Don't do it. Like, I can handle myself. Okay. Don't contact these people because if you give them attention based on somebody else, they'll say, "Well, this person sent me to attack him." No, I do not condone that. That is wrong. No matter I know how the internet is. People will send people out to attack. In fact, um, even people who are on Bernie's side are attacked by Bernie Bros because you said because you they'll say you took a quote out of context and you're making Bernie look bad. I'm like yeah, but you have to be truthful. No, we can't be truthful. We can't do you can't do that. So don't go attacking people. I condone that kind of stuff. Doxing is bad. All that stuff. Obviously, that stuff's illegal. Doxing is illegal. You should be charged with a crime. You know, and all the other stuff. But yeah, so that's what happened. I find it hilarious that Joe, who has a business, and he came from nothing pretty much, is screwed over by YouTube, the most authoritarian Google, you know, and like I know he hates corporations. That's why I think he's a Bernie supporter. That would be my guess, but I don't know that. But you do realize that not all companies are created equal. When you the only way you give news for video game news is when you're upset. Everyone does this, even including the people who don't intend real harm on people. You only get up when you're negative. I get it. But at least when I try to do stuff, I want to point out the good that they've done. Like, some of the exclusives are working for them. That's a good thing. People should buy them. And if people want to play them on a different platform, they should be able to. But then why would you have a PlayStation? Because not everyone has the option to have a PC, Or maybe they, as a younger person, they had a PlayStation and they continue to have a PlayStation. That's just the way things are, Not every... Just because something is better doesn't mean you're going to get it, People need options, And Sony would make a lot more money on the PC market. But still, I do like Joe, even though in 2016 he said Trump voters are ignorant. Well, guess what? You're an ignorant one now. You have no idea what you're talking about. All the information about Bernie just flies over your head. And then you double down on it, saying like, I feel like corporations and all that stuff. Like, really? Here's the thing. You're a business. You think Bernie would stand for your business? No. He would not. He would say, just give one. Just have one company. Just have one channel. The guy said, like, you don't need kinds of deodorants. Different kinds of deodorants. The guy doesn't believe in competition because he's anti-capitalism. Like, he's anti-business. He's anti-money. Even though he has 3 houses. In fact, he changed his tune awfully quick when he went to... When he became a millionaire, he said, only billionaires deserve to be taxed, not me. Because I'm a millionaire now. Leeching off the government. And getting his wife a job in Congress. Never passed a bill. Never made jobs for anybody. And you're the direct opposite. You have 2 employees. Other Joe and Dell. And then you have, like, people in the Angry Army which give you money. Which, because they enjoy your work. Because you put effort into your work. Imagine if the government got a hold of your show. Why would you put the effort into it when you're being paid by them? And, okay. Because all you do is pretend to work. You don't... That's what they did in the USSR of old. There's a person who visited Russia, and they said, like, you shouldn't stand on the balconies of the hotels because they were made shabby. Because they didn't have to put all their work into it. Since you're paid the same wage no matter what, everyone's paid the same wage, you don't have to work that much. You don't have to do everything like to a standard. I don't think people understand that part. And people died over that. People died in order to be free. And now people want to get I get it. Like it seems like it's the establishment. We are built on anti-establishment in America, but there's a difference. The establishment now is Google, big tech, all that stuff. And you have people like these internet stars now, like reversing course, and and if they keep doing it, they're going to realize that they're going to lose their audience because it's happening all over the place. People say like, well, we don't need them anyway. Yeah, you really do. You need audiences from all walks of life, not just from one particular place. You know, uh, I know this was mentioned before on my channel, but I like to quote from the quartering. It's like, I hope as many people watch my channel as possible. Because I don't want you to have a particular point of view. Believe it or not, the more you listen to your own ideas, the more radical you are. Which is why I listen to classical liberals because they make sense. Factual feminist. Ben Shapiro is my conservative point of view. Steven Crowder, even though he's a little rash sometimes. Um, like the Quartering, he's a classical liberal. Um, uh, the Cod, I forget his name. He's the guy with the golden statue, and he's a British. Um, he's a British guy. Talks about British things, but what he says makes a lot of sense. Do I always agree with everybody? No, of course not, because I'm an individual. I have a brain. I have two eyes. You have to make up your own decisions. This isn't. I don't think, but to a progressive position, that is very offensive. You can't have, because you're not identified by your group. If you identify people by their group, you can take anyone out of that group and say that represents your group, and say no, it doesn't. This is why like the alt-right is winning right now, and I'm not talking about Trump or MAGA supporters. Those guys are not alt-right, but they have alt-right people in their group because they're easily aligned with those. It's easier for them to get in than those people. What they do is, you see, there was a video on Twitter about how, oh man, I'm getting way off topic, but still, I'm on a rant. What do you want? And where this guy had a Confederate flag, he was waving it around, and some guys tried to take it from him. Didn't happen. And I'm like, you're kind of proving their point, aren't you? Like, see, the alt-right protests peacefully, even though they're hateful, nasty, evil ideas. They protest peacefully and then get attacked. And then that says, hey, wait a minute. I don't like that they get attacked just for pointing out their views. I like them more than they like you, and now you have more alt-right supporters. Congratulations, you made martyrs. So yeah, that's another thing I hate, because people don't realize what's. So yeah, that's a good thing that people are getting stuff stolen from them, and I'm like, not really. You're just creating more supporters. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. That's another thing I don't like, and I'll be on later. Take care.